Hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike and this is Open Mic Workshop. So far we've taken quite a bit of time to prepare you for the moment that we're at now. So we've talked about how to plan a cover song, we've talked about what kind of gear you could have on a home studio, what I'd recommend for a setup. We talked about the audio interface, we talked about the guitars, we talked about keyboard, we talked about the DAW, we talked about Cakewalk, did a long tutorial on that. All right, and now I want to kind of take it to the next level. So we've got all the tracks in there, we've survived the Cakewalk recording process, and now we have too many tracks and we need to make the song sound better. So now you'd be asking yourself, okay, how do I turn this into one file that I can share with everyone? So today, we're going to go over a high-level mixing and mastering of your song inside of Cakewalk Sonar. This is not going to be perfect. It's not a professional studio here, just good enough to release to the public with some level of honor. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and use a real song that we've already recorded with many, many tracks. It's called Hooked on a Feeling, and this has already been distributed. But I'm just going to take a step backwards and pretend as if some of these tracks had issues. So I'm going to go ahead and break it, and then together, I'll show you how to fix it. Okay, here we are inside of a project that we worked on for quite some time and actually released. So this is one of our distributed songs, and it's quite a popular one. It's called Hooked on a Feeling. Here's I guess what you'd call the session. There's lots of tracks here. There are some bad settings. The volume is not right, but this is totally normal for a project that you're just working on. The first thing you're going to want to do is organize these tracks. So you want to relabel them. They're all going to come in as track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4. But you should relabel them as to what they are. So, and we organize them by instrument. So just whatever it might be. In this case, the bass is first, and then some drums, all the percussion. We even did some manual hand clapping. Then you have the synth section as we scroll down here, plugin called Deputy. And then we have our guitar solo, and then all the guitar. There really wasn't that much guitar, just one solo lick playing on top of a rhythm. And then you have all the vocals. There's some for the Ooga Chaka. If you remember the song, it starts with the Ooga Chaka and then goes into singing. But anyway, then we have horns at the end too. So actual recorded horns that we laid into this and layered into each one. So that's what you do over time. You record each section. You overlay them so they all make sense as they're being recorded. So now that we're organized and we're labeled, we're going to go ahead and you can color code too, like I have right here. Some people's like the bass will be blue, so you can make the background blue. You can just change over here. If you click on a track, such as this track 1, and then you look over here, you can see the foreground and the background. That's just the coloring of the section. If you just want it to be default, don't worry about that. It's going to automatically just change colors, be a pretty little rainbow. But if you want to kind of structure it, say all my bass will be blue, all my vocals will be violet, all my guitars will be green. You can organize it additionally however you want. However, it's going to make you, whatever's going to be easier for you to work on your song, basically is what it comes down to. All right, and then of course you have everything. Here's the raw, and you're going to go ahead and you just listen to it. So you listen to what you have, and you try to figure out what's too high, what's too low. You just take a listen to. We'll just listen to the beginning. It's the a cappella part, and then it'll go into the lead song. But let's just hear what we have. This is what we ended up with, basically.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, 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 ooga.
All right, this is a lot of tracks. It's making a lot of noise. You just want to listen to everything at once, and you're going to notice issues. Like right there, that was a pretty messy mix of the vocals. This low one was generated with AI is overpowering, so I have to modify those levels. So to see all the levels of all the tracks at once, we're going to switch to the console view. So the console view, it just lists every track just going across rather than up and down. And you can see all the volumes that are applied to each track. You can see the effects that are applied. You can see what they are. So we group them. So let's just go back to the beginning and try to make some changes there. This acapella section seems to be off. So I'm looking for the acapella vocals. Those are all here. Ooga. So I got to watch those and see what's going on. I'm going to change them as it plays just so we can make sure the volumes are better.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, 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 ooga chaka, ooga, ooga.
All right, so the ooga from the AI is not dominating any longer, so that's good. But there's something was amiss here. Nope, these seem to be correct. So I remember I copied these two, and this is your panning. So if you want to pan from the left to the right side, you can do that. If you want everything just to be straight down the middle, just leave it alone. But you can pan either way to make your modifications. So that's really what you're trying to do here is fix the big stuff, what's wrong with each section. So that's just the acapella. Now let's listen to when the music kicks in, right about here with the organ. And then we'll hear if any of the levels are off.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. Hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing.
Okay, I noticed something strange with the bass, so I'm just going to solo the bass parts. So for this song, this was a while ago, we used MIDI for the bass. So we just plugged in the notes, and it's just playing with the MIDI. But the drop, the that you hear in the song, did not sound correct when it went through MIDI. So I played that part. So it's a combination of the MIDI plus this drop. So here's what you'll hear, but you'll hear there's a volume difference that I need to adjust. Okay, so I either need to bring the bass drop lower or I need to raise the bass. And I think I'm going to bring the overall bass up. So let's try that again, and I'll try to tweak the volumes to get it back so it's a little more level. Okay, I think it sounds closer. So when you hear individual pieces that are just wrong, just zoom into that piece. Just look at it closer, listen to it, and you'll hear the differences. You'll hear what's wrong, what needs to be adjusted. So the bass sounds a little better. Let's hear it all together. See if we notice any spike.
Hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. It's as sweet as candy, this taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me.
Yeah, we've already spent quite a bit of time to get this pretty close to what we want. There was one section where I heard a funny sound. I want to show you how to fix oddities such as that. I think it was around 60. Check the horns. Let's hear. Right there. It's sort of a clunk. It's hard to describe, but it sounds like an instrument is hitting something or striking it. So I just want to get rid of that sound. So first I have to find it. So I'm going to zoom in on the horns here because I think it's at the end of the horns. So I'm just going to solo the horns for just that part, starting with one measure early, and let's hear if we can hear that sound. There it was. I heard it at the very end. So one of these horns made that sound. So now what we need to do is, it was at the very end, so I'm going to blow it up, enlarge this, hit the plus. You can really zoom in to these waveforms and see where there might be that sound that was made. I don't think it's, let's play it again from here. And I'll give us a little room. Yep, there we go. We can see all three horns. Start at 59. It's right there. Okay. So I'm going to basically mute all these. There's no need to have any sound after this point. There's one of these horns is making a sound that's unnecessary. So I'm just going to mute everything. So to do that, you go into each track. So let's say from this track here, track 21, you just find where you want to split. And I'm just going to split here, split. Just hit OK. We divide that one section into two. So it's now just split, and you can treat them independently. So I'm going to do the same on the other horn. Split, and then I'll do the same here with this last horn. I'll split. Now that I've split them, each of these tracks are separate from each other. What I want to do is mute these three sections. I don't know which one it is, and rather than have to dig through, I'll just mute them. There's not supposed to be any sound. So right click on any section you want to mute and click on clip, mute, unmute, which mutes it. By default, it's unmuted. So when you hit mute, unmute, you're muting it. All right. Now let's go back and hear that sound, that thud, disappeared. It's gone. All right. So we'll put it all back in. We won't hear that sound again. So this is the whole band.
All the good ooga chaka, ooga 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 chaka, ooga ooga chaka, ooga ooga chaka, ooga ooga. Hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I said I'm hooked on a feeling, and I'm high on believing.
All right, and you get it as good as you can. Like I said, we've already spent quite a bit of time adjusting all of the individual levels. So you get it as great as you can, all the levels that you can, using your effects, using all the tools at your disposal. This is your mix, so it's your overall mix. You really don't want to master within here. The mastering should be the final step. So this is as good as you think you can get it through the mixing process. Now we're going to export this as a WAV file. And once that's exported, we'll create a brand new project, and we'll call it Hooked on a Feeling Mastering. Bring the audio in, and then we'll do a little bit of mastering. We'll go through that in a little bit more detail. So let's just do that first. So you're going to export this mix as an audio. This one is going to be for mastering. So it's for the final hurdle, doing the mastering, and we want to select all the tracks. Oh, before we even get here, it's always good to come here, click on any track, Control A, select all tracks, and do your export. Just to catch them all, and just export the entire mix, all the way through. Don't worry about a time selection, just do the entire project. Yep, for mastering. You want it to be a 44-100 and 24-bit, which is fine. That's high quality. And then you export as a WAV file. It's going to overwrite, which is fine. And this takes a while. Okay, once you get the indication the export was successful, you create a new project. So, file new. I just do a 4-track, it doesn't matter. You just need 1 track. So I just do 4-track. And I give it I always give it a name, which is going to be within the same folder. So that was, we're doing Hooked on a Feeling here. All right. Now within this folder, I would create a new Cakewalk project called Hooked on a Feeling Master. Just for mastering. All right. So now I know this is what I'm going to be doing the mastering in. Here, you just right click and import the audio. We're going to bring in that audio that we just exported. I've been doing a lot of migrating of files, so it might take me a minute to find it. And you find for mastering, and you import it. Now it's in here, and all we have to do is add our mastering plugin to do the fine tuning here at the very end of the song. So what I'm going to go ahead, instead of going to this mastering option under EQ, there's also an equalizer, which does very similar things. So this, like I said, it's kind of the final chapter before you release your song. It's going to be bringing the highs down, the lows up, lowering or raising the mids. You just listen to the song, and you can try some of the presets that are here and hear how it changes your sound. If you like it, keep it. You can make slight modifications from there. But basically, you just want to hit play and try some of the options that they have. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, 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 ooga chaka, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Ooga chaka, ooga, everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling of high on believing that you're in love with me. It's as sweet as candy. This taste is on your mind. Girl, you got me thirsty for another When we're all alone together, yeah, you turn me on. I'm hooked on the feeling of high on believing.
All right. And that's really what you do. You kind of fine tune the sound till it's just what you want to hear. And then you export the final product. So you pick whatever tweaks or modifications you want to make. Once you're complete, you do another export. But this export is going to be the song that will be distributed out using a partner such as SoundDrop, which is what we use, or the other options, DistroKid, CD Baby. There's a bunch out there. But that's what's coming next, is how to distribute these songs. But what you want to do is give it some name where you know this is the final one that's going to be distributed. You want to have 48,000 and stick with 24-bit. Some companies have issues when you go larger than 24, so I just stick with 24-bit. And really, it's only the one track. And then the entire project would be exported. Now, if you wanted a fade, which I didn't put in here, it's very simple. So instead of doing a fade with the entire mix, just click on this automation lane here, and this is the volume. So you want to get down to the end, find where you want the song to end, and then go backwards. So let's figure out where there's no more music. And it should be ending.
Let you're in love with me. Yes, I'm hooked on a feeling.
All right, you don't want to end like that. So it looks like right here, 83, measure 83 is where it should end. So that should be the very end of this. Let me delete this, nude. Okay. And now we just fade it. We figure out where we want to start the fade. Usually 4 measures is good, so we'll go down to 79 here. Start the fade. So what this means is here's the volume at 0. You know, there's no impact. You scroll down here. And now you're fading out. Let's just hear how that sounds.
Yes, I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm so high on believing that you're in love with me.
Alrighty. So that's how you do a fade. So just pick where you want it to end. Go back at least 4 measures. You could make the fade as long, or you could have a quick sudden drop. Just go from right down to 0. It's up to you. All right. And next we'll talk more about distribution, which is the key next phase. And that's really it for the workflow. Starts out as a bunch of chaos, but it ends up as a nice, neat, organized file. In the next video, we'll talk more about how to distribute the file once you have it, what companies to choose, why we chose the company we went with, what are some advantages and disadvantages, but primarily how you can use a distributor to prevent yourself from committing copyright fraud. It's very important. If this helped you in any way, please do all of that YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, throw a comment, whatever else you want to do. And remember, good enough beats perfect every time. For the next videos, it'll be 2 music videos. Let's see. I'll probably give you guys the Twilight Zone for what's been released out through streaming services, and for a work in progress, which will be the very next video. I still have to dig through and pick an old clunker and then play that for you and kind of show you how we've improved over time. That's the goal. 2 videos. One that's old and rough, one that's new and actually being distributed live right now. So with that, we'll talk to you next time.
In the sky that we look upon, should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea. I won't cry, no I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by.